Just wanted to. Oh, good morning, everyone. My name is Amelia Barilli-Simon. We will be leading this meeting. Karen has another event today, but we're just very, very excited to have everyone here. And in a moment, we'll get started with introductions. But let's go ahead. Well, let's just do introductions now. So my name is Amelia Barilli-Simon. I am a community health program specialist with the with public health services, covering two departments. One is Office of Violence Prevention, and then one is Live Well at Work. So I just wanted to make a pitch that if you're interested in employee wellness, please reach out to me. And then a little bit later on, you'll be hearing a brief announcement from one of our colleagues on one of their projects. But let's go with Shalyn. If you could just introduce yourself. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, you know what? Can I just do a quick thing?
Yes. Okay.
Let me, because it's one of my favorite topics and Mia and I talk about it all the time, but please share one thing that you do for self-care, because many of us are in challenging fields and challenging positions, and then we work with others who also are in challenging positions, whether it's our clients or even the environment around us, whether it's our community or our worksite community. So I'll share that one of my the things I like to do for self-care is to go into my garden, and right now the peach tree and the pear tree are just overflowing. So if you lived on my street, you'd have about 6 peaches and 6 pears by now. So Shalyn.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shalyn Garan, and I am a social worker and community outreach liaison for the new Child and Family Wellbeing Department, formerly known as Child Welfare Services. And what I love to do for self-care is I've taken on swimming. And so I love being in the water and just swimming and looking up at the sky and just enjoying being in the water, in our Creator's water. Thank you.
All right, Lori.
Good morning. I'm Lori Dusa with Our Lady of Mount Carmel Parish with the Mental Health Ministry.
Awesome.
My background is rehabilitation counseling and the San Diego Catholic Diocese.
You actually froze a little bit. Lori, can you go back and say your organization again?
Okay. I'm Lori Dusa with the which hat am I wearing? With Our Lady of Mount Carmel Parish, and I'm with the Mental Health Ministry. The Mental Health Ministry is part of the San Diego Catholic Diocese, and let's see, we're one of 12 parishes within the County of San Diego. What I'd like to do for self-care is go hiking with some of my ministry members at 5 a.m. in the morning, and then also cycling with my husband.
Wonderful. And so on my screen, I have Ray next, and a little bit later, you'll hear a little bit more from Ray. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ray Vialu. I come from the San Diego County Behavioral Health Services, and I'm a part of the REACH supplemental grants. I am working with different faith-based organizations on trying to increase vaccine uptake and flu uptake. So cool.
Let's see, Mia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mia Hall. I am also with the County of San Diego. I work in the Office of Violence Prevention and Maternal Child Adolescent Health Services. I work alongside Amelia. And in addition to supporting the Domestic Violence Council, their subcommittees and the main committee. I also, on my nights and weekends, work with SBCS as a frontline domestic violence responder. So therefore, by day, I try to work on the policies and everything that drives domestic violence to prevent it. And then at night, I provide crisis interventions to those that are actually experiencing domestic violence in real time.
Thank you. Oh, and then Ray mentioned in the chat box that he meditates and journals for self-care. Okay. Maribel, if you can introduce yourself and also share what you do for self-care. You're on mute. Oh, maybe we'll come back to Maribel. Bruce Robertson. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Bruce Robertson. I'm actually the program manager for the Positive Parenting Program at Jewish Family Service. So I get to work alongside Julio on a daily basis. What I do just for self-care is I enjoy exercising and just hanging out with my wife, hikes and walks and sitting on the beach.
Well, San Diego's a perfect place to do that.
That is a perfect place for that.
Wonderful. Let's see if Margot.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Margot Gonzalez. I am also one of the managers for the Positive Parenting Program at Jewish Family Service, working with Julio and Bruce. And my self-care involves roller skating with my family. I love it. It's my stress reliever.
Is it traditional roller skating or inline roller skating?
I do trail skate and jam skating, which is like dancing on skates. Love it.
And,
Thanks.
oh my goodness, how fun. Okay, let me see if Maribel can introduce herself. And if you can't, your microphone doesn't work, Maribel, feel free to add your information to the chat. Okay. Well, as people join, we can also welcome them. One of the things that we like to do for the Faith Committee is kind of share a universal thought. And, one of the things that, is very important to me is family. And, and we talk about, this is our team is very welcoming, and we are part of a broader family, a broader community. And I'm actually going to shamelessly borrow Shalin's analogy that she presented on Tuesday when we were talking about domestic violence services in Central Region, an amazing panel. I believe it's recorded. So I think Mia, we could also share the link when it's been uploaded to our YouTube page. We heard from the Family Justice Center, Diane Doherty, downtown. We heard from Center for Community Solutions, which has a domestic violence shelter in the sort of the East region and North County area. And then we also heard from San Diego Police Department, the DA's office, and the LGBTQ Center. And one of the introductions that Shalin offered, and maybe, I don't know if I'd like to have her do it instead of me trying to replicate it, is she talked about the tapestry and what you see in the back. Shalin, I feel like you'll do a better job. Do you mind sharing your little visual?
No, not at all. Yeah, we were just sharing about the collective impact that we all have, that we, a lot of times when we're working with one another, we think sometimes that it's going to be seamless, but it's not always so seamless, but we do our best. And I like the analogy of cross-threading within our agency, not just child and family well-being, but I work for the Health and Human Services Agency, which is also a part of a larger enterprise, which is the County of San Diego. And across all of our departments within the County of San Diego, and with our community partners, we like to do cross-threading, working with one another across all of our different programs and services. And a lot of times it looks like underneath cross-threading, something like needle pointing, needle point when you're cross-stitching a pattern. And a lot of times underneath, it can look very, very tangled and like a little mess, and it's not perfectly connected. But when we're working collectively, trying to get the work done, trying to serve the families that we're serving every single day, we hope our aim, our vision is that we're strengthening families, that we're working together to strengthen families. We're preventing violence, family violence from happening through our efforts, through your individual and our collective efforts to create this beautiful picture of, faith communities that are working collectively together, individually within your faith organizations. You're doing the work, working with families and preventing family violence. But together, we're also doing that work, and we're looking how we can cross-thread, how we can work together. So with one faith organization doesn't have the resources or the bandwidth to support a family, they can reach out to another faith organization or within the County of San Diego, because we're your partners as well. And it may not always be that perfect handoff, but we're going to do our best. We hope as we build this collective that we have this beautiful tapestry that we all created, that we're creating together. It's not like a single story where one person is doing one thing. We're not working in silos. We're hoping to build a collective where we're all working together to create this beautiful picture where we're working together to strengthen families. And so when we speak about cross-threading, that's what we mean when we're working together.
Thank you so much, Shalyn. Thank you so much for that picture. And so with that, I'm going to give Ray a few minutes. He is also with our office and under Public Health Services, and he sort of has another arm apart from the Office of Violence Prevention, where he's doing work to address health disparities related to health. So Ray, do you want to ask the team a couple of questions? Maybe we could have people respond either in the chat box or just everyone can just share their insights.
Yeah, thank you. So just a little background. I'm currently working on a project with faith-based organizations. And with back to school coming up, we really want to start kind of a campaign to talk about flu vaccinations and also COVID vaccinations. But while we are kind of working with these different organizations, we are targeting predominantly like marginalized type communities. And when we're kind of working with these organizations, we are also looking for different types of topics and things that we could include while we are working with the organization. We've gotten some feedback before on targeting like chronic diseases. So talking about diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular things. But I was wondering if anyone had any other topics or things I should consider while I'm kind of reaching out and doing some outreach efforts, and what is a nice approachable way to kind of be a helping hand and when I work with these different types of organizations. So anything, any feedback would be really helpful.
So feel free to unmute or type something in the chat box if you have ideas, or even something that you've already done in your faith organization, or church or synagogue. Any ideas? Okay. So not a lot of questions. Would it help if we gave you some time and maybe sent out some questions by email? Ray, did you have some other questions about the types of support or ways that we could share information?
Yeah, I
Maybe
was thinking,
as
yeah,
well.
what are some efficient ways to get out even like ready-made flyers out or kind of like reminders for people to get vaccinated? Or it's like, hey, we have like resources, like how to get a vaccine or things like this, like any types of what you would want to see to kind of um help out in this effort.
So we can add that to the email. Yeah, it sounds like maybe people want to give it some thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we were thinking of, do you want to have a blurb with a link in your bulletins or in your email blast to your parishioners or congregations, and, even like, something to share in some of the smaller like women's groups or family group meetings or something like that. Even youth, the youth care about their own health and activities. So just kind of put your thinking caps on. We will send out these questions to the whole list, and feel free to share with us some of your thoughts and about resources that you would like to have for your families. Okay, thank you so much, Ray. Okay. And so I will have our presenter, Julio Ramos, to introduce himself from Jewish Family Services. And then did you want to share your screen as well?
I will be sharing my screen, yes. Thank you,
you.
Amelia. And thank you all for this great opportunity to be able to share with all of you a little bit about the Positive Parenting Program and Jewish Family Service. This is an organization that has been around for since 1918. Jewish Family Service. It started as an organization helping new Jewish immigrants coming to San Diego, and it was started by a group of women immigrants helping new Jewish immigrants coming from primarily Europe. And it's turned into a very, very large nonprofit with over 45 different programs. Out of those 45, I think only 5 of them serve the Jewish community exclusively. All the other programs serve the community at large. So it's gone from an agency that focuses only on people of Jewish faith to everybody throughout San Diego County. I'm Julio Ramos. I'm a parent educator. I've been with the Positive Parenting Program for in October it'll be 14 years. And I've been a parent educator for a total of about 17 years. I worked a few years with different programs. And so let me go ahead and share my screen and share a little bit of our program. And the one thing that I want to share is that my self-care is, give me just a second here. Like some of you, I like walking. I like riding my bicycle and also golf. Those are 3 ways that have been very helpful for me to take care of myself, to de-stress. I find golf to be de-stressing, and when I play with people that are too competitive, that takes away the de-stressing purpose. So I let them know that I'm not that competitive. I'm out there for the fun. To take all my stress on the little white ball and trying to get it in the little hole. And if somebody's too competitive, I'm probably not going to be playing with them too often because I want to go there to just come out floating and be stressed and feel much better. So Positive Parenting Program and San Diego Domestic Violence Council Faith-Based Leaders. I think we have the potential of forming a tremendous partnership working together. And as I'm going to share with you, we have a lot of common goals. And so we're hoping that you'll get enough information here that may interest you in having us come to your church or community center and be able to share some of this very valuable information with the parents that you work with. And so sharing a little bit about our program. Since 2009, the Positive Parenting Program, or Triple P, is funded by San Diego County Health and Human Services Agency as a Mental Health Services Act prevention and early intervention program. So as opposed to many other parenting programs out there, and there's some that are very good as well, you know, this is more of a preventive early intervention program. We want to be able to provide parents with tools that they can add to the parenting toolbox. We don't want to tell anybody how to raise their children. That's each person's own business. But we want to give them tools that may help their parenting experience be more enjoyable, which would in turn make the child's family experience more enjoyable. Our mission is to create positive, measurable change in families and enhance the community. And I think that's one of the things that we have in common with all faith-based organizations. Cultural competency is a priority for all in our program because it reflects our ability to be successful change agents with parents. This is an evidence-based program, and we'll share a little bit more information on that. It's an evidence-based preventive early intervention program developed by the psychology department at the University of Queensland in Australia. It has over 40 years of scientific research. They've done research on this program longer than I've been an educator. I've been an educator for about 40 years now, but they've been doing the research longer than that. It's been already translated to 19 languages and offered in more than 30 countries. We can say that we, Positive Parenting in San Diego at Jewish Family Service, are responsible for translating to 4 or 5 different languages, starting with American English, because all the information we got, all the tip sheets, all the PowerPoint presentations were in Australian English, and some expressions are a little different and sounded funny to us. And so we asked them to Americanize their English in their presentation. They didn't allow us to do it because it's copyrighted. But then we needed it in Spanish. We needed it in Vietnamese. We needed it in Arabic. We needed all this information in, right now we're working on Pashto and Dari because we have a lot of people from Afghanistan, newcomers to San Diego, and also Haitian Creole. We're working with Triple P so that they can translate the documents to the language that the population we serve speaks. Our mutual goal with schools and faith-based groups is to help promote improved effectiveness and wellness of parents, which, as research attributes, is the foundation for healthy and well-adjusted children. If the parent is not feeling comfortable and accomplishing their goals as parents in helping educate their children, it's going to have an impact on the children as well. So we don't work with the children as much as we work with the parents in helping them better connect with their children. Our significant value to parents, whether their children are currently presenting behavioral challenges or not. Again, this is a preventive early intervention program. A couple of you were talking about working with Child Protective Services, and you know, our goal is to help families avoid having to end up in Child Protective Services or you know, county organizations getting involved because there's been some domestic violence issues. So we're trying to be the like Ray was talking, we're the preventive side of parenting, where we want to inoculate some families with positive parenting strategies so that the parents can get better result in their children's behavior. And we'll talk a little bit about how we go about that. The San Diego implementation has achieved a high rate of satisfaction across the county and documented outcomes for improving children's behavior and reducing caregiver stress, depression, and anxiety. The research shows that 97% of the parents that implement the strategies of positive parenting with their children, 97% see improvement in their children's behavior. And we're seeing the same results throughout San Diego County. One year we actually had 98% of the parents that put into practice the things that we shared with them, saw improvement in their children's behavior. The parents tell us because they complete surveys at the end of each session, and they're telling us whether the program is working for them or not. We also do some service assessment to determine what are other needs in the community that we serve that can be identified. Address parents' concerns about the children's behavior and desire to improve their family life. Other concerns often arise from challenges directly related to their current financial situation. As a nonprofit organization providing a number of different services, we want to make sure that there's consistent meal, jobs, clothes, and other, and the ability for the parent to access behavioral health and relationship quality programs. So if we don't have the services that they need, we're able to refer them to either other county services or other nonprofit organizations in San Diego County. All right, triple P self-regulation model. And the idea of positive parenting is to help the parent, support the parent in helping the child. We support the parent, help the child be able to better self-regulate. Because when a parent has to tell a child what to do all the time, we don't realize it, but we're making the child dependent. And what we want them to become is independent. So many times the things that we're doing with the best intention as a parent is actually not giving us the results we want, because our children don't know how to self-regulate. They're expecting mom or dad to help them regulate. So we help them with self-control, self-management, competence, self-efficacy, ease and ability to control themselves, their emotions, control the fact that they cannot always get what they want all the time. Also accepting responsibility, that's very important. Personal agency for any child, any age is very important. Our program, the concepts that we share and the strategies that we share with parents not only work with children, they work with teenagers, and they can work with adults as well, because it all has to do with human nature. We want the child to become good at problem solving also, which is essential throughout their life, and self-sufficiency. The principles of positive parenting are the key to everything else that we teach through our program, and helping the parent understand these basic principles will help them be able to better support their child in their development. So having a safe, interesting environment is one of the principles of positive parenting. We want to be able to want the child to be able to grow, to develop in a safe environment. And so, making sure that electric outlets are covered for the younger ones, so they're not sticking things in there and hurting themselves. Having a positive learning environment, we the parents need to establish that positive learning environment. If all we do is correct their mistakes, they're not gonna do as well as if we focus on the good things that they do, encourage them, praise them, and that's how we try to help parents create or maintain that positive learning environment. Using assertive discipline. Discipline is very important. Every faith-based organization, every church, every temple, every mosque knows that discipline is very important, but we want to make sure that we break away from some of these traditions that we carry through our cultures that sometimes use punitive discipline when there's evidence that we can educate our children, we can teach them to make good choices without the necessity of punitive discipline. And so we give parents, we guide them, we support them with strategies, well-proven, well-researched strategies, more than 40 years of research that show that a child can be taught, can be educated without the need of hurting their bodies or their minds. Having realistic expectations. Sometimes as parents, we expect our children to be perfect. Bad news for everybody. There's no such thing as perfection in humanity. And so what we want to teach the parents is how they can help their children, first of all, have realistic expectations about themselves as parents, and then have realistic expectations. Children are going to make mistakes the rest of their lives because they're human. I'm still making mistakes. Hopefully I'm not making the same mistakes that I made 5, 10 years ago or 2 months ago. And I'm learning from my mistakes as I mature, as I get older, quicker, so I don't keep making the same mistakes. And I always go back to Einstein. One of his famous quotes that I like using is, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And sometimes as parents, that's exactly where we're living. We're making the same choices, reacting the same way to our child's behavior, and we're expecting the child to do things differently. So we want to teach parents to be able to react differently, to look at an alternative on how to react to certain behaviors, and observe and monitor how the child responds to that different reaction. Taking care of yourself as a parent. And I love that we planned it so well. Amelia, you asking that question about, self-care, this is part of the principles of positive parenting. If we're not in our best as parents, if we're not in our best physical and emotional, mental, spiritual health, how can we give the best of us to our children? And so we think that's very important for each family, for each parent. It's going to be different because of our culture, our religion, our background. But it's important for us to be in our best possible health to be able to give the best to our children. So the positive parenting program has 3 different levels of intervention or support for parents. The first level is seminar. We normally do this in larger groups, so we can come to your church and your temple, your mosque, and if you have 30 people, 40 people, 50 people, I think our record has been 80 people at one site. We'll come and present. We do a 3-seminar series. I'll go through the details. We provide some handouts for them to take home, which is a summary of what we cover in each of the 3 seminars. And so that's the introduction to positive parenting. Then we also, for parents that need additional support, we offer them individual one-on-one consultation. We'll go through the details of what that's all about. And then also, if they need additional support beyond the 3-seminar series, we offer group. All of this is fully funded by County of San Diego Health and Human Services. 100% of the funds for our program come from the county. And so it's free of cost. Anywhere where we're invited, anywhere we go, there's no cost to the participants, to the site, the church, the temple. There's no cost. The only thing any of these places may need to provide is maybe, water or snacks, something like that for the parents. But other than that, our services are 100% funded by the county. So let's talk a little bit about what the seminar series for the larger groups encompasses. It's 3 sessions lasting approximately 2 hours each. That also includes Q&A. The first seminar, we talk about the power of positive parenting. What are the principles, which we just covered what the principles are. We go into detail what these principles are, how they benefit the family, what we can do as parents to be able to apply some of these principles at home. Second seminar is raising confident, competent children. And we focus more on the self-esteem of our child. What can we do to help our child achieve and maintain a healthy self-esteem? We do a This is where we provide them with a tip sheet at the end of each one of the seminars. And it's not just one sheet, it's two-sided, two sheets, and some of them are three sheets, two-sided. A lot of the information that we're providing. I'm looking at a question, thank you. Will a copy of the PowerPoint be shared? Yes, this PowerPoint is available I will share that with everybody. And then seminar 3, raising resilient children. Here we focus on what can we do as parents to help our children be able to communicate their emotions in a healthy way. And again, sometimes we repress that communication from our children. And we don't want them to cry when they're hurting. We don't want them to express their emotions, to be upset. And so we talk about what we can do to motivate them to communicate their emotions, because if we repress our emotions, eventually that can bring out some serious mental health issues. And so we want to avoid that. Again, this is a preventive early intervention program. The individual sessions are one-on-one. Again, if many parents come to our 3-seminar series and they say, this is awesome, this is great, I've applied some of the strategies shared, I'm getting improved behavior from my child. Wonderful, thank you. And that's after just 3 2-hour sessions. And sometimes before the 3 2-hour sessions, they're already seeing, after the first seminar, they come to the second seminar and they're sharing, improvements already in their child's behavior or children's behavior. But sometimes that's not enough. There's still some issues, 1 or 2 particular behavior issues that they're struggling with. That's what the individual sessions are for. There's 4 sessions lasting approximately 45 minutes each. They focus on in-depth problem solving for 1 or 2 specific behaviors. It could be, tantrums. It could be bedwetting. It could be aggressiveness. It could be too much time in front of a screen. Whatever the behavior is, we focus on 1 or 2 of them and provide specific support, specific strategies that the parent can use with the child to help improve that behavior within those 4 sessions. Those 4 sessions can take from 4 to 6 weeks to complete. Parent develops individualized plan for managing the behavior using proven strategies shared, and we provide support as facilitators to help achieve success within those 4 sessions. And then the group sessions, let's say we did a seminar for 30 people, and out of those 30 people, 10 to 12, maybe are interested in continuing and making a bigger commitment. They need help. There's a number of issues going on with their children. And this is an 8-week program. And this 8-week program consists of 5 2-hour group meetings and 3 individual meetings that can be done by phone or Zoom, one-on-one, or sometimes in person. And that's 3 one-on-one sessions. And basically within the first 4 sessions, we teach the parents different strategies so that they can set a plan of action for themselves, for the specific needs for their children. And within those 3 individual sessions, we support the parent to make sure their plan of action works and gives them success. And then we meet again for the 8th week as a group and share results and complete the program. There's a pre-session for intake paperwork. We focus on more complex behavioral difficulties. The group format normalizes parenting challenges and builds a social network with other parents. Many times parents think they're the only ones experiencing some of the challenges, and they find out that no, there's other parents in the group that are going through some of the same. And sometimes they're very supportive with each other. This has worked for me, this has not worked for me, maybe you can try this or that. So Triple P and Jewish Family Service, we want to move forward together with San Diego Domestic Violence Council, faith-based leaders. We want to be able to bring these valuable seminars and services to you, to your community, to be able to support you, to be able to build stronger families which benefit the children, but also stronger schools, stronger churches, temples, mosques and stronger community. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this point. And if there's no question, I will email Amelia
I think
the
Lori
PowerPoint.
might have a question.
Yeah,
Go
I have a
ahead.
question.
Yes.
So from time to time, this comes up at our parish, some of our meetings, and there are parents who are struggling with their children who are who reveal that they have some same-sex attraction or have identity, you know, have some personal identity issues. And I'm wondering, as far as the positive parenting, how is that addressed, or has that come up in some of the positive parenting sessions? Because I know that within the schools, there are also, you know, it's contrary to our Catholic faith. So, you know, in a positive parenting class, can you share a little bit about if that is a topic that has come up, or has it, how do you address it, or how the peers address it, the facilitators address it?
That's not an area that we are experts at. So we generally do not address that. That we leave that to the families, we leave that to the churches, to the faith leaders, to handle that with the families. We're experts in behavior. And so we respect every faith, and we work with every faith to be able to redirect that back to the experts within your faith. That's not our area of expertise. We're behavioral. We're more focused on the behavior of the child and not other
that's
areas.
where they're stemming from. Yeah, some of the behaviors are seem to be stemming. That's what the parents are expressing. The behaviors are stemming from their child's identity and the conflict between the parent and the child.
And I think what is very important behavior-wise is for the parent to not jump to conclusions. For the parent, I mean, for many children, there's confusion in every stage of life. Not necessarily identity, but there's confusion. And so it's important for the parent to not jump to conclusions, to try to stay calm and be a good listener. We want our child to want to feel open to talk to us. We want to be the #1 resource for them as much as possible. And if we're not able to help, then maybe we can get somebody from our church, somebody with more knowledge and more experience and more authority than we have, to be able to support our family in guiding the child. But it's important for the parent to be a good listener, to not shut down, you know, to not judge, to not jump to conclusions, which is what normally many times we do. And what we're doing is the opposite of what we're trying to do. We're pushing that child away from the family when what they need more than anything is to be embraced, to be loved, and to be listened to and understood. And whatever it is that they're going through, when they have that nurturing environment at home, they're less likely to make bad choices in their life.
That pretty much aligns with what our mental health team shares with parents as well, and how we spend listening and encouraging them to have that open dialogue with their child. Thank you.
We want to encourage parents to make that connection with every one of their children. You know, children have different life experiences, different perspectives. I always say, you know, you can have twins and triplets, and each one of them is going to be totally different from each other just from their life experience. And I actually had a parent that made me aware, a mom, he said, understand that if twins are born minutes apart, the life experience of the first one is very different to the life experience from birth. And I'm going, what do you mean? He says, well, the first one is going to, if it's a natural birth, the first one's going to struggle a lot more in coming out, in being born. Why? Because things are going to be tighter. By the time the second one comes out, it's gonna slip right out. And I never thought about that. Sometimes the parents educate me too. I may be a parent educator, but I learn from every seminar that I do. You know, parents have a lot to teach me, but that makes a lot of sense. She says, and you don't know if the first one coming out, you know, is putting his foot on the face of the other one to push out. And now the second one, you know, the first one may have had more trauma in that experience being born than the second one in some areas, but the second one may have had different trauma, you know, in that experience. And we don't remember a lot of these things, but scientists say that a lot of that stays in our subconscious mind, and it can have an impact in our life. And so we want to educate parents also on the ACEs, you know, adverse childhood experiences, and how that impacts us. As adults, some of the ACEs that we experience as children are still having an effect on me. I'm the son of an alcoholic dad, parents divorce, you know, 5 out of 6 children. All of these things and experiences have an impact throughout our childhood that can have an impact on us as adults. So what we want to help parents do is just find the way to connect with your child, to make you the #1 resource for information, not their friends, not, you know, social media, not other areas. But that trust has to be earned, and same as the respect has to be earned. We all think that, you know, it comes with the title of being a mom or a dad, but there's things that we need to do to be able to earn that trust and that respect. You know, many of us may have been raised by parents that we respected them out of fear. And the question we need to ask ourselves as parents is that, but I want my child to do, fear me and respect me because he's afraid, rather than respect me because I made some good choices to earn that trust and that respect. Yes, Amelia.
Yes, I wanted to add, I don't know, I never can find the raise your hand icon at the bottom. But I wanted to kind of build on what you said earlier and add to another resource for Lori. One of the presentations that we had with the general San Diego Domestic Violence Council was on self-cutting and self-harm. And it was actually a very touching personal testimony from a young man who had gone through that. And then we had an expert on that topic. But one of the topics that she talked about was that interaction between the parent and the child, and even between that child and other children. And she had a very interesting picture of emotional regulation with red, green, and yellow, like, you know, the stoplight, and also how that affects your brain and how that impacts your ability to communicate. So if that's something that you are all interested in, I could actually share the link to that presentation. It was probably about an hour and a half between the two speakers, but I can also do a little timestamp on that piece about parent-child interaction and that emotional regulation piece, because I think, you know, as we mentioned, you know, these are very challenging topics that can come up. The reason why the child's behavior could, you know, be difficult, we don't always have all the answers, but I think teaching these skills. So I know that the peers probably have wonderful techniques, but I also wanted to add that. And then we also had a previous presentation here at this committee on adverse childhood experiences. So, you know, we've had this goal for a long time to share our YouTube library with all our committees. And I think this is just a reminder that if you haven't been to all of there's so many meetings that we've had with either the general meeting or with this committee, that we can add that so that all of you can, you know, see what other presentations and topics we've covered in the past and look at that. Lori, I know that wasn't, you know, was your question addressed? Did you?
Yes, it was. And thank you for offering those additional resources, because, you know, with the QPR training, we talk about cutting and self-harm, and, you know, it would be great to add a little bit more to that portion of the training.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half total between the two presenters. And so it's available, and you can use any of our videos as well if you wanted
Yeah,
to
and
borrow that.
so we can direct others who want to dive a little deeper into that, to that link.
Absolutely. So I wanted to give an opportunity. Is there another question in the chat box, or does anyone else want to ask our presenter a question about the positive parenting program? And Julio, can you already shared your email address in the chat box, and we can also make that available to people.
I just added it in the chat.
Wonderful.
If anybody wants more information or would like to look at dates to schedule something for your community, we would be happy to
Can I
set
ask
that
a
up.
question? I have a
Yes.
question. So similar to Lori, what if there is a broader issue that makes parenting challenging, such as, an issue with autism or some other reason why the child may not have the skills or the ability, and then there's a bigger issue that's sort of happening in the family. How do you support parents when they have those family concerns and family challenges, and specifically
that's
the child?
Yeah, that's a great question. We get a lot of parents that say, my child has been diagnosed with this or that. And basically I said, give this a try. They come to the first seminar, they say, my child has been advised with, ADHD or they're in the spectrum. And they come back and tell us it's making a difference. We're seeing improved response. We're being better listeners. We're being more specific in the things that we're asking. We're making sure that my child understands, when I'm talking, we give them more choices. When they make the choice, we give them two choices and they decide what to do, what to eat, whatever, what to wear. They respond better because they sense that they have more control about themselves than mom or dad always trying to control them. So those are part of the strategies, positive parenting strategies that we share with the parents, and give it a try for a week. And if it doesn't work, we'll talk about it and see if any other strategies can help. Even though the specific program that we are sharing is not focused on the different diagnosis of child behavior and mental health, what we're seeing and finding out from the parents coming back and saying, I tried this with, all my kids and it's working, even though with the one that is in the spectrum. So again, we are sometimes surprised by seeing that the positive parenting strategies applied, evenly across the board is helping parents and better communicate and get better behavioral result. I have one particular parent that I've been working with recently, that the son was diagnosed as being in the spectrum, and she's been having a lot of behavior issues. He's always acting out. He's always, she's very stressed out, and the main thing that that caught my attention is that there's 4 years difference between him and his younger sibling. That means that he was the baby and the center of attention for 4 years before the next sibling came along, and all of the focus now went to the younger sibling. I said, try this. I asked the question, does he act out when his brother's around or when he's not around, or all the time? And she thought for a second. She said, when his brother's around. When it's just him and I together, I've never had any issues with him. I said, you need to spend more time with him, because he feels like the only way he can get your attention when his little brother is around is by acting out. And that's in every family. That would be the same in that situation, that could potentially have the same problem. And so all of a sudden she starts spending one-on-one time and planning things with him without the little brother, having somebody to babysit the little brother. 4 years and 8 years old. And all of a sudden, she's starting to see a whole new, different child. The diagnosis of being in the spectrum had nothing to do, in this case, with his behavior. It had to do with this subconscious thing that he figured out soon enough after his little brother was born that in order to get attention quickly from mom, he needed to misbehave. And that's very normal. And so that's part of the normalizing the situation for the parent. She thought this was terrible. I'm going to have to deal with this, for the rest of his life. And now she's finding out this is wonderful. All I need to do is allocate a little time once a week alone with him, do fun things with him. And he's better self-regulating when he's around his little brother. Because one of the behaviors was that he was hurting his little brother. That was one of the bad behaviors that this whole experience was, how it was manifesting itself. And so, again, it's not magical, but little changes that sometimes we make. Again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. We want to give parents alternatives, different options for them to try to hopefully be able to get better results. I hope that answers your question.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I love that example. And I didn't see a lot of other questions in the chat box or anyone else coming off their microphone, turning back on their microphone. So actually I had a couple of logistics.
That means everybody's ready for the exam now, since there's no questions.
Oh.
No, there's no exam.
No, there's no exam. I actually have some logistics questions. Do you have flyers in the other languages that you had mentioned, Vietnamese, Spanish, so that those could be shared, or not yet?
What we do have in some of the different languages, and we can order them on an as needed basis, is the tip sheets that we get. We don't have right now. At one time, we had Vietnamese educator, Vietnamese speaking educator, and an Arabic speaking educator. Right now, we don't. We have a Dari and Pashto speaking educator. We've been working with different organizations that provide an interpreter, so we're able to present in English with interpreting services provided by agencies or school districts or other organizations. We're not staffed for all the languages, but the languages that I mentioned, we're able to get some of the materials so that we can give them as handouts. The flyers, when we schedule a seminar in a different, and we're targeting a different language, we do have flyers in Vietnamese and Arabic. We haven't needed the other ones translated yet, but we can get them translated as we start seeing a growth within a certain community.
Lori, did you have another question?
I do. So our campus, a portion of our campus is under construction. And so you had mentioned some of the seminars that are organized. And so I'm curious if there are seminars where it's open to others, out there, maybe, so that we can refer folks to attend a seminar, because right now we're not organizing so many things on our campus.
Yeah, we every month we schedule one community seminar online through JFS in English and one in Spanish, and so that could be something you could refer people to. So you can provide them with my email, and we'd be happy to send them the information so that they can register and get the link for the seminars.
We would love to send out that information about the community session.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't mind sending that to Karen or Mia or myself.
Certainly.
Yeah, because I think not everyone has the capacity to coordinate these seminars. So thank you so much for letting us know that the community sessions are available.
yeah, those are open to anyone. And then again, if you would like us to come to your community, we would be happy to schedule that as well. And what happens sometimes is that sometimes the pastor or the priest, the rabbi are present at the seminars, and they're able to answer some of the questions that we're not qualified to answer. Like Lori was mentioning, I would always refer to the expert in that area, and when they're present, it's great for the group that is there involved, and so that can be very helpful for the community to have an expert in that field in religion and spiritual things that we're not able to support as well as they are.
Thank you so much, Julio, and everyone else who participated today. We usually have up to an hour and a half, but if there are no more questions, we can give back 24 minutes of your day. And as I mentioned, we'll send out a follow-up email with some of these flyers that Julio mentioned, as well as sort of the discussion questions that Ray offered regarding some of our public health programs. And we'll also send you sort of the link to our YouTube page with some of those resources. And I'll specifically timestamp the one on the emotional regulation tips that were shared. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.